Hi, my name is Jason Hugg, photojournalist here in Reading, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to show you what's in my bag. It's been obviously a crazy year with the pandemic, protests that are happening, and a whole bunch of severe weather. And really, this bag for me handles all of that very nicely. And I changed out a few things about a few months ago. I had a much larger bag. I kind of wanted to consolidate everything into something really that I could take around anywhere, throw it in my car, bring it to the office, and kind of just go anywhere with it. And so I kind of figured I'd share what goes into it, how to use it, and if you want to set up something like this, if you're a working photojournalist or even a reporter, it's always kind of cool to have something like this. So, let's get started. So we'll talk a little bit about what's on the outside first, and then we'll kind of go on to the inside. So the outside here, let me show you a 360 of the bag. I just bought this bag off of Amazon. I can put the link in the description below, but it's not really any of a special bag, but it is more one of the larger bags than the smaller ones here. There's a whole bunch of pockets and everything on the outside of it. So first with this, my flash, my off-camera flash here came with a bag actually. So that's what I use to hold the flash in, so I don't have to have it on the inside of everything. It kind of conveniently goes right in this little bag. If I need it, I can always jump out of it, pick it out of this. The other thing I have on here, which I got actually at an event, is a small little thing of hand sanitizer, just in case if I'm never around anywhere that has any, I can use this real quick. I don't really use it that often because I usually have some in my car anyway. Let's go around to this side. So on the outside here, I actually have my fire, police, EMS pager radio. This is super helpful if I want to keep track of breaking news on the local level. For the county, I just have to turn this on and I have this all set up. Basically, I keep this around with me, just kind of like my cell phone. It kind of goes everywhere with me. You never know when something's going to happen, so it's always helpful to be able to turn this on and to be able to hear what's going on. One of the first pockets here I have is basically a pretty big grip. Turn this around here, put that down. So this is actually used for press conferences. So as a photojournalist, I'm kind of running around and doing a whole bunch of different things. Today might be a press conference that sets up with the mayor or maybe the commissioners, the county commissioners. Tomorrow it might be something else. But this is really cool. This actually fits on the podium itself. And you can kind of screw this off and on. Now I kind of put all these different parts together from different kits over the time. So this is one of those multi-function arms, and then this piece actually holds the microphone, which I'll show you later. It's inside, but it's kind of bulky to kind of put inside my backpack, so I kind of fit it on the outside here. I'll put that over here. And then the other thing that's in here is my extra batteries. These are super helpful because everything I have basically runs off of AA's. These are Amazon, the high capacity rechargeable batteries. They work really awesome. I think I've had these for the past 2 or 3 years. Just buy a few different rechargers and you're all set. So that kind of leads us into inside. Now this actually is a nicer bag. It has a hard top on the front. It's pretty well waterproof. I mean, I don't take it out in the pouring rain, just on the off chance I don't want my camera equipment to get all messy. Let's move some of this stuff over here. But let's change to a different angle here. You can kind of see here. This is the bag. This has everything in it. It's really designed, like I said, more for the local level of photojournalism. I don't really go outside of the county to do anything. So I just stick to here, but I want something, like I said, to keep everything packed in itself, so I don't have to run back to my office. I don't have to go back to my house or to collect a whole bunch of gear to then run out to go do something. It's really nice to have it all like basically packed away right in here. So you'll see a whole bunch of different compartments. I'll kind of open them up here and there. Let's see here. So at the beginning, the top of it, I have my press pass. There you go in the camera there. This kind of has everything. Obviously I need that to get into places and to move around. My camera is what takes up most of the biggest area of everything here. This is a Canon 80D. I like it, and I got it because it has the fold-out video monitor here on the back of it. I use that actually a lot, either to do video or for photos. If I want to get down to a really low angle or a high angle, I can kind of adjust that around. This is a 24 to 105 lens. It is actually, I kind of had a whole bunch of different lenses for a while. I had telephoto lenses. I had a really ultra wide 10 to 22 for a while. And this, I kind of landed on this. I wanted to have an L series lens. It is very nice and very sharp. This is the second version of it, not the first version. And I actually bought this used, which is really helpful, cut down on the cost of everything. But the 24 to 105 for what I do as a reporter, photojournalist, is seems to be working really well. I have a wide range I can take a good group photo with, and then group photos don't happen often nowadays, indoors at least, but I also have the telephoto range, the 105, and this is obviously a crop sensor camera, so it goes a little bit further than that. So it's really kind of nice because I can zoom into a lot of things. The other thing that's kind of nice is I figured out for video, it's not the best thing to do in every situation, but let's back out here. There we go. For video, I can also use the digital zoom on this. So obviously you can zoom out on this lens and it zooms out pretty nicely. But there's also a digital zoom feature in the camera, and that, especially just for video really, that allows me to zoom in just a hair bit more. Now of course the quality goes down in the video, it's not as good, but again, when I do, I'm not looking for something that is always the best quality. If I need to zoom down half a block because either there's some sort of incident happening with fire or EMS, or if there's something like that where I just need to get a shot of something, that digital zoom actually really helps out. And having that on the 24 to 105, well, it's with the camera, not the lens, but having that paired with the 24 to 105 gives me a very versatile field, so I can kind of zoom really super far if I need to, if I just need to get something, an image of something, versus if I really need to take more of a group shot or something ultra wide. I'm not then switching back and forth between camera lenses, which can kind of get annoying, but also not really feasible when you're in a situation where you just need to get a quick shot and you just have to get it. So that's the camera. Let's see, let's back to this view here. So the next step in all of this would actually be a lot of the things, the microphones and everything I use for press conferences. Let's see here. So let's unpack this a little bit here. Let's see, microphone, mic flag. So all of this kind of comes apart and I put it together on scene when I go to a press conference. I can then hook my mic all the way just up to the podium, and as I mentioned before, up is down here, different camera angle. We can then use that. There we go. There we go. So I can use that to then basically hook this right into the podium, place it up, and it works out great. So that is the microphone, and all of that just fit right in here. I just had to unpack it a little bit. I don't use it, of course, every day. This is mostly used just for press conferences and things like that, or interviews where I need to get a quick interview of someone. Generally speaking, I'm on my own, so we don't have, it's not like TV where we have like reporters and on-camera people who need to talk to interview people. So this is mostly used for press conferences or situations like that. But like I said, this kind of unpacks very easily, which is very nice. Here I can just unscrew all these pieces and then go to the other camera angle here. All those done. Let's see. And with that, of course, I have the transmitter for that. And then to make it all work, because typically I'm using my DSLR. If there's a press conference, I will use my DSLR to actually shoot all the video, and then I'll have a bracket, which I can show you later, that actually holds my phone, which is what I'm actually producing with this right now. I have another one in there too. But basically I'll actually set all of this up Let's see. There we go. So I screw that on here. This is a Movo base. It actually has a cold shoe on it. So I can then screw that. I can actually place that on the cold shoe of my DSLR, or if I'm doing live streaming, which I do a lot of live streaming locally, I can actually put this on top of a grip for your phone and use it that way. And that's basically what this iRig Pre is for. I don't really have to use this if I'm using my DSLR for for press conferences or interviews in that capacity. But of course, how do you take a microphone, a nicer broadcast microphone, and place it into a live stream without using the phone's microphone, which isn't that great for interviews, of course. And a nicer mic looks professional too. So that's where I use the iRig Pre here. I zip tied it onto the adapter here, the grip, just because I didn't really have any better way to actually put all this on here, and I wanted it to be stable. Yeah, so this runs off of a 9-volt battery and plugs into an XLR, which I have an adapter to, which then goes into another lightning adapter, and then eventually plugs into my phone. And then that basically, that whole setup will allow me to use a broadcast microphone with my iPhone to live stream everything. I can also, if I don't want to run the transmitter, in some cases there's a lot of TV cameras there as well. Everyone's using wireless mics, so I can actually plug in direct the XLR to XLR. I'll bring like a 25-foot or 50-foot XLR cable, and I can route that up to the podium and then plug that in directly, and then that will also go through the lightning adapter to everything else, to my iPhone. So that actually works out really well. Get this off here. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's see, over here. One of the other things I have, which is always good to have if you're, if you're always on the go, is an SD card holder. This was a ProMaster brand. I went to one of the local camera shops and actually bought this, but I have a whole bunch of them in here. They have a bunch of different sizes for a bunch of different card sizes. Now, my Canon 80D only has one card slot, so I just buy a whole bunch of these. Typically, I have a whole bunch here, actually, for a few different reasons, just to go over that real quick. I mostly buy the 64s, which for a while there were a little bit more expensive a few years ago. Now, of course, technology gets better. So I actually have quite a few of them. I have a few 32s in here too. Basically what I do is every time I'm at a shoot or I'm at an interview, I take photos of something, I load them on, I take them with one card, and then I automatically lock that card, place it back in here, and take another card out for either the next day or for another event. Sometimes I'll go to 3 or 4 different events in one day where I will need to have a whole bunch of different ones. Because there's not 2 card slots in that camera, I've never had it happen where I've really had the files corrupted, but just on the off chance it ever would for whatever reason, I always basically slide in another card. They're very cheap now to buy. I think they're like $20 or more, a little bit more, a little less, to buy even like the 64s. 64 on that camera gets you, I think, about 1,000 photos, which, I mean, generally speaking, you would never really run through at a typical, job that you're going to, so story that you're going to. So that's really helpful. I have a whole bunch of these in here. And then the other good thing, which again, on the off chance it happens, is this whole thing is waterproof as well, which is why I wanted a plastic one. Has a little rubber liner on the inside. And that's really helpful because, like I said, just on the off chance that you happen to be in a flooding situation, which I've been in before, and you have all your gear and maybe the backpack doesn't get wet, but you want to just put this in your hot pocket real quick. It's not going to get wet versus some of the other like nylon zipper pack ones that they have on Amazon. That's not going to be the case. So moving forward here, we have a power bank. This is basically a must. If you don't have an external, battery pack, you need to have one in your camera bag. You never know when you're gonna, drain your whole battery in your phone, and you're gonna need, extra battery. Sometimes, especially if it's like breaking news, if it's like a big fire, it's gonna happen for a few hours or something where you're just gonna be on site somewhere, or an event, even though they don't happen too often these days. Maybe it's an outdoor event where you need to have something like that. Having a battery pack is amazing for that. You can just plug your phone in. So we'll put that over here. The next piece I have is actually pretty cool. I just got this it just came out a few months ago. I just got it when it came out. So it's a little bit bigger of a bag for it. And you don't really need the bag specifically, but this is the AT&T Netgear M5 mobile hotspot. This is pretty cool. Because I do a lot of live streaming, like what I'm doing today, I'm actually live producing this whole thing today. It's why my hands and everything are going back over. I have my iPad over here. So I have two cameras hooked up to my iPad. I'm actually not using this. I'm using my office Wi-Fi to produce it. But that's basically what this does for you. This will set up a Wi-Fi hotspot basically anywhere you go. Which typically I would just use my phone for, and it wouldn't really be that big a deal. But if you're out, especially if you're a journalist or a photojournalist, you have to capture a lot of video or do live streaming, or just plainly work on the go. I get a lot of articles done using my iPad, of course. And the iPad has 4G anyway, but this is just an extra backup, or I can actually connect and cell bond multiple connections to upload video on the go even faster. This really helps out with that. So I can connect to the 5G, I can connect and then cell bond the 4G from one of my phones and the iPad, combine them all at once using an app on my iPad, Speedify, and then upload video, say from my DSLR, up, way faster in the middle of a field, basically, or in the middle of a city where I'm not near a Wi-Fi hotspot myself in the office or something, on the go. So this has actually been really helpful to do that. Yeah, it works really well. And there's an M1, the first version. This is the second version, of course. This just came out a few months back. In the same pocket, I have all of this. I have my iPad charging cables. Both of these, the iPad Pro that I have and the hotspot here, have a USB-C connection, so I can use the same charger to charge anything up. The M5, I've never had it run out of battery, so it does really well for that too. So the other thing I have is usually I have a second cell phone. This is just my old cell phone I have that I don't really have a case for it, but it doesn't have any, there's no, what do you call it? There's no phone number on it at all. I just use it basically as a Wi-Fi device, but my iPhone XR is what I usually use for live streaming, like press conferences, things like that. So it's nice to have just a second phone that I can use with my AT&T M5, so that I can check how is the live stream doing, what are comments, if I need to check another website. It's always helpful just to have a second phone. It's not the best phone, it doesn't need to be the best phone. It just needs to be something where you can check the internet while you're using your other devices to do things. This has been super helpful just to check up on things and to be able to browse things while I'm actually using my phone to live stream. And this just kind of came up because I got a second phone a few years back and I had to do something else with this one. Instead of letting it sit around, I can use it. So I'll put that over there. One of the things, of course, that's really useful today in today's society is a mask. I have a whole bunch of them. I have a bunch of them in my car. This is just one of the KN95 masks for if I ever have to go indoors or large events. And well, that's it for the main bag here. I'm going to flip it around here so you can see what's in the other side. Okay. So I have pens. Pens are always helpful to have. Okay, so in the pocket here is iPad. This is just my old iPad that I had laying around. I don't really use this one. I actually use my iPad Pro, but I wanted to just have it in here as an example that it fits in that back pocket, and basically you can rip it out anytime you need it and to use it. So that's just an example of that. All right, so in here, actually, I guess it's all nice and neat when it's in the bag. When you get it out of the bag, You gotta put it everywhere. So, there we go. All right. So the whole, I'm just gonna pull all of this stuff out. I usually don't have to pull everything out here, but it's probably easier to go through everything rather than one by one. So bear with me here for 1 second. Okay, so the whole bunch of cables that are in that back pocket. As you can see here, this is a, well, there we go. This is an extra battery. Goes right there. Let's see. These are headphones, wireless headphones. Actually, what I did was I paired them with the Fire Radio pager here. They're Bluetooth. This doesn't, because it's waterproof, it doesn't have a headphone connection. So basically what I did was, it's over there, I paired them to here. So then when I go to any type of fire or police incident, instead of having this thing blare because it's very loud in the middle of what's going on, I can actually just basically unhook these real quick. They automatically pair when it's on, and then I can listen to it in my ear, and it works out great. I don't have to bother anyone, and I can keep up with what's going on. It's a charging pack, so it charges right on the go. I never really need to charge these at all. Anyway, let's see here. So I have a whole bunch of different cables. These are the regular headphones that used to come with old phones before Lightning cable. I had a whole bunch of pairs of these, of course, and way back for the older iPhones. And these are actually really nice to use just for all of my other equipment and even my camera when I need it. This is two things. This is obviously a phone holder. So this will hold your phone in different situations. But I also put a cold shoe mount on the bottom of it. This is a very small cold shoe mount. There's a whole bunch of these that come in a pack on Amazon. And I basically just kind of screwed it onto the bottom here. And so the point of this is that this can go right on the top of my DSLR. So you can see it there. It basically just screws right off and on. And then, where's my phone? There we go. And then you can go like that. And that will hold itself on there. It's not going to go anywhere. And this is basically my setup for live streaming events, which is really kind of fun. I can get stills using my DSLR here. And then I can also live stream everything directly to the phone. So that's kind of how that is set up, and then basically it just live streams everything, and then I can take that video later and kind of cut it up and make other videos from it. But that's really helpful. There's no other extra stuff here, it just kind of all stays together. So that's what that does. Over here. Various cables. One of the hard parts about using iPhones and everything is because if you want the mic to go in, you need TRS cables versus the TRS. So there's two R's in between there. So all these cables do a whole bunch of different things. In fact, this is actually a mono cable because basically to route, I've had to figure this out, it's taken a while. Basically to route any of the microphones into the broadcast mic that I have, I need to turn into a mono, and then then I use the Rode mic here, which I have a whole bunch of different ones of these, so it doesn't have to be a Rode mic specifically, into my with the Lightning cable. No, actually into the iRig pre. Goes into the iRig pre with this little guy, and then this is the XLR cable that comes out the back of it. There we go, and that kind of all fits in. Then this can go back. And it all kind of fits together. So, oh, I'm sorry. This is not. No, this is. That's not what I use that one for. I know. Every time I go to a press conference, I always have to go. Okay, this is the configuration for everything. But no, this actually can plug right into my camera to capture video. If I want to use it for my iPhone, I can then plug it in. Mono out that way, so it picks up both sides of the speakers, and then this of course sits on the front. I'm not going to unpack it, but you kind of get the point. So that's kind of how that is all set up. We'll go to the other. If I ever want to split anything, I have a splitter, which works really well, just splitting audio. And then we have another TRRS to TRS. This is actually the reverse. So this takes the just a male to female plug, but basically I have another Rode one that I have as well, the gray to black, that does the opposite of this. But what I found is that I'm always in need of either one or the other, depending on what I'm doing and if I'm putting stuff into my phone or into the regular DSLR. This is the SD card to USB-C port. This is actually really helpful. I can use this. So when I'm on the go and let's take this out here. When I'm on the go and want to take a photo with my DSLR, I use this little guy, the Anchor USB-C port to SD card reader, and I slide that in there. Then I basically plug it into my iPad Pro, and then I can import all of my photos into Lightroom, the app, and then organize them, and then basically just put them right on social media or upload them directly to our website, which is super helpful. So that's what that is. I have lens wipes. I usually don't use these types of lens wipes, but on the go, it's always helpful to have some type of lens wipe just in case you need something. If there's mud that splashed on your camera or something like that. Business cards are the same way. Never leave without business cards. And all right, so that's basically it. The only other things that I do have, which are somewhat interchangeable, which I have over here, I usually have these in my car for other reasons, is gaffer's tape. This can be used for a whole bunch of different things. So if you need to, what do you call it? I've used this to attach the power banks to my tripods, so then my iPhones can get battery. I've used it for microphones to hook microphones into places, put them on people, that kind of thing. So this is like $12 on Amazon for, well, it's a little bit, I've used a lot of it already. But this is actually really helpful. So just always like keep a whole bunch of it in your car. I also have a Rode video mic. I have a whole bunch of other different microphones, but this is the one I primarily, if I don't have all of my broadcast mic stuff in my backpack, I will interchange it with this. So then I can just do close-up interviews really quick. It works pretty well. It's just basically this is used so you're not using the microphone on your iPhone or your smartphone specifically, because those are a little bit closer. If you've ever seen, you do Facebook Lives or live streaming, and it really captures the audio, you and not the person you're interviewing. This is a cool mic. It doesn't need any battery at all. You just basically plug it in using like the lightning adapter, which is on the other one, and it will capture the directional, kind of like a little mini shotgun. It's basically what it is. So that's what I have with me as well. Usually I'll keep that in my car or my camera bag, depending on what I'm doing. And then also this little guy. This is an iographer, little bendy tripod. You've probably seen the Big Brothers, which are like the big Joby ones that people use for vlogging and everything. I don't need something that big, but I do have a use for something like this. You can basically bend this kind of stuff in any direction. You can, if you have a pole or something like that, you can kind of, bend it around there and put a camera there. This isn't really going to work for a DSLR. You'd need something much larger for that, so that's not what this is for. This is mostly for like if you have a GoPro, or if you want to put a cell phone up for live streaming and like put it in a weird angle or somewhere that you don't really have a clamp for. This is really good for that. And this has a ball joint on the top, so you can kind of basically kind of put it in any direction, anywhere you want on the side, and you can get something. If you had this without it, you can clamp it on there. So that's basically it. That is what's in my camera bag. It's a small bag, but it does the job. And like I said, all this kind of stuff is I got to put it back in my bag now. It's a mess. But thanks for joining me and taking a look at what's in my camera bag. My name again is Jason Hugg. I'm a photojournalist here in Reading, Pennsylvania. I love what I do, and I do all the kind of stuff on the local level. So whether it's press conferences, to interviews, to flooding, to protests, to anything that's going on the local level, I need to be prepared for it, to be able to cover it, and to be able to get audio, video, and a story out of it to quickly get up to our readers online and on social media. All of this stuff here today does the job. And if you have any questions for any of this, how it works, links to stuff, send me a message. I'd be glad to help you out and to talk about it. Either comment on the video here or send me a message directly on my website, which is jasonhugg.com.